All of our improvements are the stormwater is going into our basin, which this elevation is the same as this elevation. Bottom elevation is the same. The berm itself, it's a little bit of a cut on one side and a little bit of a fill on the other side to get this basin.
Are they going to be able to maintain a balanced site? Are they going to be able to do their cut and fills and without bringing anything in?
I didn't do a cut fill analysis, so I can't really answer that. But we tried. Anytime we do it, we try and do it while we're grading the site, so that way we don't have huge retaining walls.
Yeah.
There's a retaining wall proposed here, and I can explain that. There's a culvert that goes across the street, and that's actually one of the town engineer's comments. The culvert is very low. It's like 487.87 is the low point. The road, for example, is 493, so it drops off very steeply to this culvert. So then you go down 6 feet to the bottom of the culvert to then come back up to our site. As I said, our site is 495, 496. Yeah, so 493 comes through the back side of the front side of the parking lot. So it goes down to this culvert to then come back up. And there's concern about that slope. So I suggested all of this is coming down, and this is coming down. This is just artificially much lower. It's 487, like I said. You could raise this, put a catch basin top, leave the pipe in place, and just rather than having a culvert end, you just have a catch basin. So the catch basin is set to 491.5 or so. It's a foot and a half down from the edge of the road rather than 6 feet down. And all the water will still get there. You can maintain the catch basin the same way you maintain a culvert, and that would just kind of raise the grade around there. Otherwise, you have like this. You have a hole in the ground for no reason other than the culvert. So
Then northwest side would maintain basically a 5-foot retaining wall? 4 foot?
no, so then you wouldn't need the retaining wall. The retaining wall is because we're sloping
Yep.
to it, and then we have at the high point the retaining wall is 4 feet. At the lows it's 6.
Yeah.
Where you can then it's only 5 foot difference, and you can make that up with the slope.
Would they be looking from the street and right at the doors of the building, or is it going to be?
Yeah, the plan. Again, we don't have the architectural plans, but I planned for overhead doors here, and overhead doors here, with entries, door entries, and these on the.
At the straw, at the right at the end there, where it's the road there. What's going to be there?
Which
They're going to be looking at the doors.
here?
No, on this road here.
On this road, yeah, these are overhead. I presume overhead doors, in these locations.
No, but I mean when you're driving by, you'll be able to.
Roadside? You're talking about on the field road side?
Yeah.
This is just the metal building. So from the field road side, they're going to see metal building. Whether there's windows in those, I'm not sure if there will be windows in there. I'm assuming since a lot of it's going to be used for kind of as office stuff as well, that they're going to want a window in there. But I don't have architectural plans to tell you that there are a certain number of windows on that side.
I'd wonder if they would, just put those arborvitaes right across the front of it. So
Well,
that's
it's a
not
sightline
asking.
issue.
If that's not asking too much,
I don't think they can put arborvitaes along the road.
No,
It's a sideline issue.
it just for the sightline. Yeah, true.
I'm sure that probably the side of the property will be landscaped.
And I think this side is probably needs to be less protected than the other side. This is the industrial corridor,
Right.
so there's a bunch of industrial buildings over here already. So I don't know if we're really that worried about.
The buffer is usually between industrial and residential,
Yeah,
not the road. The compound's across the street.
yeah, because you got to really consider, the people that are living in the houses. They're going to be looking at things
But
every day.
yeah,
sounds
compound's
good,
across the street. Yeah.
So,
Compound, it's a building across the street where they're going to be storing like classic cars and stuff.
Right.
It's
yeah,
not.
it's not houses.
Right.
That's good.
Yeah.
I pulled it up on GIS. There's a great deal of space in between. So I saw that there was a big concern around the basin. So that's what I wanted to understand is just, I'm thinking, all right, you guys do this, and then someone's basement is flooded a week after, you dig the basin because water has been rerouted. But that doesn't seem to be the case. That's something that someone would have to deal with after the fact. it sounds like that concern is addressed. It also seems like it matches the area. I mean, does anyone disagree with that? I mean, it seems like Field Road, that whole strip is,
You got it across the street on both sides.
right?
Same structure type.
Yeah, drive to the dump, you know?
The low point is that.
When are they looking to start construction on this if it's approved?
It's a good question. I don't really know. I know he still needs to get a building designed. I think he's going to work with the metal building company to get that designed, and he hasn't started that process yet.
Your concern around electricity is Eversource's call, right? I mean, that's not
Yeah,
really
so,
our call.
no, it's not, but I just was more curious because if a building of that square footage will require
Right.
some decent power and there might be significant work needed up Field Road. And it's a long way from Field to Main Street. So if they have to do any upgrades in there, it's gonna tie everything up and people are gonna be asking questions for
I
a
see.
good amount of time.
Correct. That
So
was my
yeah, I'm not
thought.
concerned about the service or any of that itself. I'm more concerned about how
The
does
burden
it,
on the town.
how is it going to impact what it's going to take to feed something of this size? Because that original service was probably pulled down for con valve and was sized for a con valve, not another 12,000 square feet of building,
That's fair.
right? And that could be with Eversource, that could be a 3 to 6 month project every day, one-way traffic, all that.
On the way to the dump.
Yes, on the way to the dump. Correct. Yes. No, I'm just.
And that's the life, right?
It's
We
a-
gotta take
yeah.
all that into consideration.
And to Corey's point, that's the route for Nets.
Yeah, it is nuts as well.
So,
Yeah, they're right down the road.
They come down there every day. I get stuck behind them.
yeah.
I live on Billings Road, so I go past it 100 times
Yeah.
a week.
You get down to one lane traffic. That it's like
Yeah.
We can tell by Howard's questions that he was right around the corner.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I will say, even that corner cutting tractor trailers around is very tight. And I come out of Cooker Construction Yard there across the street, and they have this trees there. It's kind of a blind spot, to be honest. When you get a tractor trailer turn and you're trying to come and you got incoming traffic, it's kind of a cluster.
So you're saying you're better off without the arborvitaes?
Well, on the roadside, yes. Residential side, I agree.
Yeah.
I think this is my personal opinion, aligning the driveways makes more sense. Having offset driveways and people coming and going and incoming traffic and tractor trailers taking the corner, that's going to make it very cumbersome. Aligning the driveways would be definitely cleaner and you're more visual, like stop and go looking at someone, but that's just my opinion. I don't know, regulation wise.
Fair point.
I totally understand that. That's probably oversight on my end. But I do think there's not a lot of traffic being generated on this property. I don't think there will be a lot of conflict, but of course, if there's ever anybody leaving at the same time, it's going to be like a who goes first kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I get it.
Almost like a stop sign, like,
Yeah. Yeah, like if you're trying to go right on Billings Road and you see this other guy waiting to take his left, who goes first? I get it.
Yeah, and the tractor trailers are really slow. Then there's a hill to the left of that is a hill, so people are just coming over the crest of the hill at the same time. Sometimes it's a blind spot.
I would assume he's going to get daily deliveries, incoming material, bigger stuff, tractor trailers.
I don't want to answer that.
Right.
Every conversation I've had with you, he seems like a pretty low key operation. I don't know if he does a lot of tractor trailer. He didn't mention to me that he needs, a WB 65 turning around in here. I think it's more of like box trucks if he has anything. So we went over this concept multiple times before we did any test bits even. And he was perfectly happy. He didn't really have any concerns with turning radius. If he had a bigger truck ever operating there, I think he would have brought that up, but I don't know that for sure.
What kind of a company is it?
HVAC mechanical equipment.
Yeah, it depends on the size of a tractor trailer or, pickup trucks.
Commercial or residential stuff.
I'm gonna look up his
I'm sure
website.
he does tank tightness
There.
testing. He does tank tightness testing. So if you have underground storage tanks for any type of fuels, he comes in, they do the state mandated every 2-year inspections, cathode testing, overflow protection. That's what they do. They install these controllers they're called Vita Root, and they're basically like a direct feedback. So if you have a spill, it's all a lot of environmental. That's what they do.
Fuel tank monitoring testing services, yes.
So my next question is, does he have heavy equipment? Does he do excavation and all that? Is that kind of equipment he's bringing into the yard?
Yeah, that's why I was asking, because I used to use these guys all the time.
Yeah.
Not that it's an issue, I'm just curious, like, if you're gonna have, loaders and dump trucks and,
They might not. He probably doesn't know. They probably,
Yeah.
they might not even be doing that at this property. It could be the other
Yeah,
property.
true.
So
And we wouldn't be able to really control that either, because
No.
what if he sells the property down the road? What we approve stays with the property.
right.
and I
Right.
think that's what Jen's trying to
Right.
say, is that whatever you approve stays with it, so.
Yeah.
Be careful with what you approve.
Right. Is there a concern about approving both properties or both buildings versus one? Jen, you had brought that up, and I'm just curious.
My concern would just be what exactly will it be storing on site for vehicles and equipment and where?
And we can control that? Like, we can put parameters around that?
You can put any condition you see fit on an approval. It's kind of hard to set a condition if we don't know exactly what he's going to have there. Does he have 4 box trucks? Does he have, like you said, excavators? None of us really know.
Should I do something odd and see if I can get him on speakerphone, or do I need to have him close enough for the mic to pick it up?
I mean, you could probably try and get him on the speakerphone at least to answer the question. I'm just curious, does he have a big fleet of things, or is it,
Yeah, a bunch of vans.
I've never done this before, but let's see how this goes.
Are you guys okay with that? Just like I feel bad answering what his business is. I guess I feel bad not being able to answer that question.
Well, I
You
guess
want
it
me to ask?
depends. I mean, I don't know if they want to gauge each other's thought on how to proceed before, is this information you need tonight to decide how to proceed, or, do you already have an idea? Like, that would be my only suggestion before you,
Yeah, got it.
like check a temperature of the commission of how you want to
Or I'll
proceed.
start making phone calls.
Does anyone have a feeling about a public hearing versus,
Seems like the general consensus. Public hearing.
I don't know, I'm asking. I don't have a general consensus, I'm asking now what your
He
consensus.
was Jen's.
From Jen's point of view, I guess.
Right, yes.
That's just my opinion. That's why I'm,
This doesn't seem like there's a lot of property that's directly impacted. But, to Howie's point, it's like, I guess, traffic and the flow of it all is going to get wonky.
When could we have a public hearing by? The next meeting, December meeting?
December 2nd?
Is that feasible?
Yeah, I mean, we have enough time to run the,
Today's the 13th, so what do we need, 14 days?
yeah, you'd have enough time because we would run the legal notice.
Did Todd have anything to say about traffic there?
No.
No, maybe we could get his advice too,
He did look at it. He didn't express any concerns, but
Because, he knows a lot about streets, and depends on whether they're pickup trucks and, or 10-wheelers and box trucks.
well, I think that's what we were just deciding. If you
Yeah.
guys know how you want to proceed, I mean,
Right.
you certainly can try and get the applicant on the phone. It doesn't sound like it's going to be a bunch of tractor trailer trucks coming and going if they do testing.
Right.
Just curious, why did you make the entryway on Billings and not Field Road?
Just easier to have the setup that he wants here. Yeah. We can pull it further away from the intersection as well. If we were to put something here, you got to go on this side, and that's kind of where we knew the buildings weren't going to go. So it just seemed better to kind of segregate our stormwater, septic, and our buildings and parking.
How do you feel about public hearing, Dan, like if we can do one on the 2nd?
Yeah, to get all the fine details on it, that we're asking questions on. And, get that out of your system. So you'll know, for sure what's going to be there,
I think in fairness of the business, we should do something like that pretty quickly. I don't want,
Yeah, that's why I figure
Yeah,
if we can
and
do it
if
by
we
the
can do
2nd, I don't think it's too cumbersome.
yeah, if.
Well, it's not, you can do anything. You don't have to, so you don't even have to make a decision tonight on that. But I think, right, like what you're saying, in the interest of the applicant, decide yes or no if you want to have a public hearing,
Right.
rather than table this to next month. You could just table it and get more information and vote, but the reason would be to have a public hearing to notify the residents in the area of what's going on.
Would be a good idea.
That's what I think, that's what you think, it's just, yeah, so.
If it was my house, it would be a good idea, you know?
I want to know.
I mean, if you just go and plop it there, they would say, what's this, you know?
Yeah, and
Second, I mean, that's right around the corner.
yes, the second is not a problem for noticing, and I can work with the applicant on just getting the abutters notices out. We have enough time to do that. And then if there's clear questions that you have for the applicant, then that would be helpful, and then you just bring that back on December 2nd.
The applicant hasn't even started looking into building structures. They have no architectural design or anything ready.
Not that I know of.
Okay, so it's not.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't say this often. Hugh is probably one of my favorite clients I've worked for. He's super easygoing, very laid back. That, you know, he's just a nice, easygoing guy. That's what I was saying. If I called him right now, I'm sure he'd answer. And you get some answers, but it doesn't matter. If that isn't the direction we're heading, then we'll just wait and we'll try and get him at the next meeting.
I agree with Jennifer in that I think it's not a good idea to let the neighbors know what's going on before they get a property.
I would agree.
I think after that hearing, if we have one, hopefully we'll be in a position to make a decision that evening. So we're not pushing you off too much and you off too much.
So do we have a couple of clear, concise questions that we need to work on?
I think vehicles is one. Do you think Hugh would be able to come to the meeting?
Yeah, so I think a lot of what I'm hearing and I'm unable to answer is Hugh's operations and what he's looking to do on the property with his vehicles, with the storage of his equipment.
Where does he keep it all now, do you know?
His main building is in Allington. Small.
Very small.
Have the owner come in and,
Yeah.
have the owner come in and in case he'll have the answer, you know?
Yeah.
And this is what you've done is terrific, you know, you really put it there, but
That way too, if you have the public here, if anyone wants to ask questions, they're directly asking him and he can answer them on the spot.
then they'll understand what's gonna be next door to them, you know?
Probably make a decision that night too. Seems like it.
Yeah, might want to look into what's in it for the town. You know, it's a net new business add to the town, correct? I mean, what is the benefit there, Jen, out of curiosity? He's now running his business out of Somers, Connecticut instead of Ellington, Connecticut.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's a good point for any applicant to make.
Is he going to maintain? Is he going to keep the property in Ellington? Or is he,
I think it's mostly just to let the public know that they're going to do construction of an industrial building. And I think if I'm clear, maybe this helps you, you're going to be concerned about the vehicles, the type of vehicles, how many, the equipment, and where they're going to store it.
Well, Chris also made a great point about electrical. I think you would have enough time to contact Eversource.
I don't even know if that really has any relevance of the site plan approval.
It'll be up to
I
them.
understand what you're saying, but I think that's kind of
Personal due diligence.
putting the,
somebody may ask the question, but
I don't think that affects
but the
it.
purview of the zoning commission is, does this meet the site plan regulations and the zoning regulations? It's up to the applicant. If they get approval from you guys and Eversource is like, no way.
It's like if you were putting a new house, they have to be getting their own electricity, you know? They gotta get it wherever it's gotta go. It's not up to us to get electricity to them.
Yeah, so it's outside our swim lane, essentially.
Yeah, I think so.
Not a relevant question, I
For
guess.
the applicant's sake, I get what you're saying, but for the applicant's sake, it's not a requirement of the site plan approval.
Most of the times Eversource or anybody, DOT, they won't even really look at a plan until you have approval at the local
Right,
level.
right.
Why do we spend time if it's not gonna get
That's
approved?
exactly.
And you would like me to check with the driveway location? I don't know if that's feasible or not about lining it up. If Public Works Director has an opinion.
If you shifted this, it just
Yeah.
gets us closer to the residential property.
Understood. But sure.
You know, if we just shift the access drive, then the dumpster location is
Yeah,
not
you want to
easily
make sure it's
accessible.
aligned. Yeah, you don't want to offset it.
So you don't want me to look into
I
that?
think it's a fair question to the higher ups. I mean, it's It's above my my knowledge, but I think it's
You're saying ask Todd.
Well, I'll ask Todd his thought, and then obviously,
I'm not as concerned. I mean, there's, what, 10 spots?
20 total
10
for a full
first
build out,
phase.
yes. Yeah, first phase.
even 20 doesn't seem like a lot of traffic, but,
Are they building the whole driveway in phase one or just?
Yeah, so essentially a line from here. So you have to build the drive, you have to build the dumpster, the loading area, and this area here, the basin, the septic system, utility connections to a point, and then the next phase will be essentially from here over. Yeah, just a little bit.
Well, it's gonna be all asphalt coming to the street from the building?
Yeah, there's catch basin, so there's right now it's flat here with the access to the concrete dumpsters, but then it flares to create a crown in the road as it's coming down to capture as much of this runoff as we can. There's a little bit that's going to bypass the catch basins and get to Billings Road, but we're capturing for the most part as much as we can. The stormwater analysis and the watershed analysis does account for some of this paved area bypassing and going to this outlet, going to this culvert, and it's still showing a net reduction.
But from the road to the buildings, what's gonna be that grass, or is it gonna be all asphalt?
From the road, yeah, so from the road to the buildings is all grass in here.
Yeah, but I mean, from that point to back is all, like, you know,
Yeah,
Oh.
this area is proposed as pavement in here, the parking area and the access drive. Is that what you're
Or
asking?
the pavement's grass?
Yeah, so edge of the road, this is grass here.
Yeah.
This is pavement. This is however you can landscape between the building and the parking area. And then grass, basin, which is grass, and then vegetation.
how about, you were saying about the lights, too, real bright lights and stuff like that, you know?
they meet our regulation.
As long as they meet the.
They meet the regulation.
Yeah, good, yeah, because they don't wanna be, like a big circus, you know?
They're 20 feet tall, 4 of them, and then 3,000 Kelvin.
And they have to be on timers
Yep.
before I forget.
Yeah.
'Cause that, you had to tell the guy across the street that too, yeah.
So do I need a motion to hold a public hearing?
To accept the application, schedule public hearing, and refer to planning.
So, moved.
Second?
You have to state December 2nd at 6:30.
Yeah.
what's that?
Public hearing for
Yeah.
December 2nd, 6:30 PM.
Public hearing, 6:30 PM.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Second, yeah.
Second, yeah. And I already posted the agenda for planning for tomorrow night and figured I could cancel it in the morning if you guys didn't, but. So it's already on for tomorrow night, so that'll be set before December 2nd as well.
Good.
Thank you, James. Thank you
Yeah.
guys.
Yes, hopefully bear with me on the second. It's going to be the same presentation, just because it has to be for the record this time. So you guys are going to hear it twice. Lucky you. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for your time tonight.
So I'll look with you tomorrow about the notification to others. Tomorrow and Monday, plenty of time. It has to be 10 days, so,
10 days. Okay.
yeah. So I'll look with you on that.
What's the, is it 100-foot of butters?
Yeah, I'll give you a list.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Should only be a couple. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to get a chance to look at the minutes from October 7th?
I know, that's fine.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. Have a good night.
Thank you.
I have a copy if anyone needs to look at it.
Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from October 7th?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from October 7th, 2024.
Need a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to adjourn?
Slow move.
Second?
A second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you.
All right.
Till next time.
Thanks for coming out for a special meeting. I